Okay. This week's assignment, practical assignment, we're going to be talking about the food banks. We're going to first try to decipher and look for proper locations to find food banks and pantries that can assist with the food situation. The tools and methods used for observing the situations was primarily surveys and census, polls, information conducted by government, corporate data collections. Um, This allows the researcher to gather evidence and large sources of information in order to make better judgments and use the adequate resources available um, to distribute this information equally so we can figure out and find out where um, these food deserts are a major problem and issue and how it can be detrimental to many people, um, specifically those who might be in lower socioeconomic classes or of minority groups and communities. The primary goal is to locate where people are in need of food the most. Make sure the places are where people are not getting enough nutrients, nutritious foods, like bread, fruits, vegetables, healthy meals, you know, um, allow there to be more grocery stores and food banks available within walking distance, bicycling distance. Because many people in lower social classes, they don't have a car, or they don't have enough gas money to get to the store. Um, okay, now nutrition inequality and insecurity. Look at food de- deprivation in lower social class areas, places that tend to be located too far from food stores or outside the cities. It's predominantly problematic in non-white ethnic group areas. Lack of fresh fruits, vegetables, nutritious meals and snacks, as we were saying. Too much junk food, such as candies, chips, packaged food, sodas, fast foods. Um, some of the major problems in gaining knowledge and personal insight on how to see why so many areas suffer from this type of deprivation of food, um, and are typically abandoned with healthy nutrients. People sometimes have to travel further distances outside the city to other cities in order to obtain fresh foods. We have to understand, why do food deserts exist and what factors contribute to the cause. Okay. Um, this sometimes makes it inconvenient for consumers because they have to travel and shop from store to store looking for the best deals or cheaper prices. One of the major issues is that many stores located in lower social class or minority communities tend to charge a much higher price for the food and nutritious snacks compared to other areas in the city. This could be due to the fact that the majority of the people in lower social class areas are maybe on food stamps or some type of cash assistance program such as SSI, disability cash assistance for people that have babies or children under the age of 18. Um, okay. The main elements and lack of nutritious foods, like elements, key terms, definitions, you could say, okay, food deserts defined, it's been addressed as not having enough fresh produce, nutritious or appropriate foods, such, such as fruits, vegetables, and vitamins. There's also food jungles, food swamps, overstocked and oversupply of fast foods, not enough healthy foods. You see a McDonald's or a Burger King or Taco Bell in every corner, instead of a produce store or something. Um, Food finances, mirage, not enough financial means to cover costs of fresh nutrition. cost of fresh, nutritious foods. And it can also be a problem if people are on food stamps and they might not have enough funds on their food stamps to cover enough food to last for the week or the month. And this is also another issue with food desert problems in lower socioeconomic class communities. Um, some of the surveys done on the food deserts. Who was the most vulnerable on the food desert pandemic? This would be groups, as we were discussing, from lower social classes who have limited amount or lower salaries, and it predominantly affects and hurts minorities the most. Many affluent communities and rich neighborhoods are not affected by this pandemic. Um, um, excuse me. Areas that are more prone to food deserts can have limited assistance, limited or no food banks, pantries, and many of the people are also um, lower educated, uninformed, or ignorant of how they can access certain resources um, for better nutritious food supply. The map generates and gives us an idea of where food deserts and food abandonment and lack of nutritious foods are. But of course, like with anything in life, no source or research is 100% accurate or consistent due to the fact of depending on circumstances and shifts and things are always constantly changing, you know, and a lot of times things are changing faster than what the data can process or keep up with. Okay, all right, strategies and methods to tackle the problem. Construct the main centers of where food stores, food banks, food pantries, and other sources of food are located. Construct and demonstrate information about the locations of food centers within a specific geographical radius and distance of an area so people do not have to drive too far, walk too far, bicycle too far from home or their specific hometown or city. Construct maps and GPS location devices, you know, on billboards, digitally, in a digital manner to locate distances and the best food options available and what kind of foods and the nutrition value and the health and nutrition value would be like knowing stuff like, the carbohydrates, salt, sugar, um, the vitamins, stuff like that. Okay, how can we address these methods? Okay, more communities and food assistance programs to get them involved. Construct areas that inform the audience of all locations of food banks. Focus on locations within a brief distance, such as walkable or bicycle areas, to have better access to resources. Understand the economics and social classes and specific demographics. This is important because, as we were saying, the lower social class tends to be more food deprived. The upper class, they tend to be more food abundant. Um, Point out food deserts and what can be done to integrate more food banks, stores, pantries, and nutritious meal plans. Okay, areas, locations that tend to be more of a food desert. Rural areas, ghettos, lower social class areas, some areas in inner city, high crime ridden areas. Number two, um, excuse me. Okay, number two, even if some food assistance programs exist in locations, there might not be enough assistance centers or food banks to accommodate the local population. Like, for example, like say if there's only two food banks in a city or town where there's a population of more than 200,000 people, there might not be enough food or resources to address the whole population at large. Okay. Understanding the functions options and choices in selecting food banks and providing proper nutrient foods. Scoping out each area and community will give us a better insight and allow us to identify what will happen or work properly in order to accommodate communities in need of nutritious and nutrient foods. Okay, finally, let's look at surveys, data, polls, maps constructed to research and investigate information to allow the audience to know and understand where the main food desert problems exist. No solutions or ideas are perfect due to the fact that each case is unique and depends on certain factors or issues at large. GIS data that can help with the issues and problems at large, that can give us more information, inform the audience, and situations, what we can do to tackle and get rid of the problem. Thank you.